Most people look at a tree. I see a life story. I see roots that refuse to quit. I see branches that never stop reaching. I see storms that didn't destroy it. They strengthen it. The question is, when people look at your life, what do they see?
Empowering you to live a life fully charged. This is 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life with L.J. Tucker.
Welcome back to 7,000 Volts, Living an Electrified Life. I am your host, L.J. Tucker. For more than 20 years, I've made my living studying trees. As an ISA certified arborist, people hire me to determine whether a tree is healthy, whether it's safe, and sometimes whether it needs to be removed. And sometimes they get unsolicited advice because they just want a trim job. And I have to give the bad news that the only way I touch this tree is that it's coming out. That's unfortunate, but when there's a target present, I have to make that decision. I have to make that call because my DNA goes on the tree. Because once I touch it, I own it. And when I say that, let me further explain it. If I come to your house and I look at a tree that's hazardous and I say, oh, we can couple a couple of branches off to make it safe as possible. And within a 30 or 2 week or whatever time it is, that tree fails and it causes loss of property or loss of life, guess who John Morgan going after? We call him Uncle Morgan. Yeah, he coming after me because of neglect. So it's a tough, but not a tough decision to make, because if I don't do my job, somebody else is going to do their job. And I don't want to see John Morgan under those circumstances, Uncle Morgan. But somewhere along the journey, I realized something. The greatest lesson I learned from trees had very little to do with tree work itself. They had everything to do with life. Nature has always been our first teacher. If you're willing to slow down, look closely, and pay attention, creation has been showing us how to live all along. Today's lesson is called Branching Out, a Tree's Blueprint for Living an Electrified Life. The blueprint. You get it? I'm wearing blue today. The blueprint. Every tree has a blueprint. Roots, a trunk, branches, leaves, seeds. Every part serves a purpose. And maybe that isn't just design of a tree. Maybe it's the blueprint for a meaningful life. Over the next several episodes, we're going to explore that blueprint together. Today we begin with the branches. Have you ever noticed something about branches? They never grow towards darkness. They always reach towards the light. Think about that for a second. I have to answer these questions like, why is that bend in my tree? It's called phototropism. Through photosynthesis, if there's something blocking that tree, whether it's a building or another tree, that tree's going to bend to the light. Never bend to the dark. It can't grow in the dark. It's going to grow away from the dark every time. Think about that. Every day, every season, every year, the tree reaches for something greater than where it is today. So next time you go out and you see a tree with a hook or a bend like this, I just taught you something that's called phototropism. The tree is searching, it's growing towards that light. Now let me ask you, what are you reaching for? A stronger marriage, a healthier body, a better business, a closer relationship with your children, more peace, more purpose, more wisdom. Whatever your answer is, never stop growing. One of the saddest things that can happen isn't growing older, it's stopping your growth. Some people stop learning. Some people stop dreaming. Some stop taking risks because fear convinced them to stay right where they are. Am I talking to you today? But a living tree never decides, I've grown enough. As long as it's alive, it keeps reaching. And not only does it keep reaching, even when its defense system is compromised. I just spoke French to somebody. When a tree gets over-pruned, the grass grows around the trunk of the tree. These trees in the suburban areas in the artificial environment. So there's many factors that can cause this tree to compromise its defense system. Especially if you take too much. They said you over-prune the tree. You cut off too much at one time. Well, the tree spends its energy trying to replace those branches that you took from it. And when I say it spends its energy, it spends all of its energy, and it has less energy for its defense system. And when that happens, the tree throws off an aura. And when that aura is thrown off, it's a signal to pathogens, disease, and other insects and bugs that I'm vulnerable, come and attack me. Why? I have no idea. Why does a scab grow once you cut yourself? That's what the tree do. The tree is constantly trying to heal itself. And when it's trying to heal itself, the back door is open. The defense system is down, so it can be attacked. Let's think about it. A tree can't move and go to work and work overtime and get extra money to replace or repair itself. It only can do it from right where it stands. So it never comes to that point in its life that says, I've grown enough, I'm gonna stop. It fights. It fights until it falls on its own because of a storm, or the homeowner decided, hey, it's too much risk for a house or a property. Then my tree service or another tree service comes in and take the tree out. The tree don't make that decision. And as long as it's alive, it keeps reaching. And so shall we. Read another book, learn another skill, meet another person, ask another question, stay curious. Growth isn't something you did once. Growth is a lifelong decision. Growth takes time. Here's another lesson from the tree. Branches don't grow overnight. Nature doesn't rush. One season, 1 inch, one storm at a time. We live in a world that celebrates overnight success, but nature celebrates steady progress. People see the finished product. They don't see the discipline, the setbacks, the sacrifice, the early mornings, the late nights. Don't compare your beginning to someone's harvest. Trust your season, keep growing. Storms, they build us. They prepare us for the next storms. I'm reminded in 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit South Florida, and it hit it like a freight train. It leveled so many different houses. It just like ground zero. But we learned something from it. Now in the South, the Miami area, it's mandatory during building. You have to have what they call the Bertha window. In this area, you don't have to have it. But guess who has Bertha windows at their house? There's a reason for it. It's the best, strongest window that you can have in protecting your house from a storm. I've inspected thousands of trees after hurricanes. Some fell, some remain standing. The difference usually isn't the storm. It's how the tree was built before the storm. Life works the same way. Storms are coming. Financial storms, health storms, relationship storms, business storms. You can't always control the storm, but you can prepare yourself before it arrives. There's a saying that says, no one plans to fail, but would you fail to have a plan? Is that you? Am I talking to anybody? The strongest branches are the ones that survive the strongest winds. Don't be afraid to branch out. Maybe you've been standing in the same place for years, waiting, wondering, hoping, afraid to take the next step. Come on, what's my word, people? What's the next step? You can't take it if you're afraid to take the next step. Maybe today is the day that you branch out. Start the business, write the book, launch the podcast, go back to school, take the trip, have the difficult conversation, Apply for the opportunity. You never discover new horizons by holding on to the same branches forever. The amazing thing that happens when I trim damaged, dead, and scaffold branches away from the tree, it replaces it with new ones, much stronger ones. Sometimes growth requires reaching where you never reached before. Sometimes it requires you prune away the scaffold branches, the dead branches, people that's not adding value, the music or the strolling that you do that doesn't add value. Maybe the church that you're sitting in or the family members you're sitting around that are dead branches that need to be pruned away. Nature has a way of being our first teachers, but we have to pay attention to it. Before we close, I want to leave you with a final thought. Nature has been teaching humanity since the very beginning. Long before there were airplanes, there were birds. For thousands of years, people watched birds soar through the sky. We didn't invent the dream of flight. We observed it. We studied it. And we learned from it. Birds became a part of the blueprint that inspired humanity to build airplanes. The lesson is much bigger than aviation. Nature has always been our first classroom. The rivers teach us persistence. The seasons teach us patience. The sun teaches consistency. The stars teach us direction. And trees teach us how to grow. Maybe the answer we've been searching for have been surrounding us all along. Maybe we just haven't slowed down long enough to notice. That's why this series is called Lessons from the Trees, because every time we observe creation, we discover another lesson about becoming a better human. Remember, stay rooted in your values. Keep reaching for the light. Never stop growing. And whatever life plants you, bloom with purpose, because when you become a better human, you make the world a better place. I'm LJ Tucker. This is 7,000 volts, living an electrified life. Until next time, go out, be a good human, and stay electrified. God bless.
This has been 7,000 volts, living an electrified life. Available on YouTube and your favorite podcast app. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. For more information, visit us on the web at ljtucker.com. Remember, stay electrified.